So this is my 1999 Lexus GS400, and this thing is a beauty. I've had this thing now for about 8 years, and it has been nothing but reliable and just so much fun. It's a complete sleeper. Just very subtle lines there on the wheel wells, the lights, fog lights. I custom color matched the grille. And it's like a pearl whitish color, but it is seriously held up well over the years. No defects in the paint whatsoever. Kind of annoying though, down there at the bottom, this little rubber part's starting to peel off. You can kind of see that. Everything's factory on this car, except for the exhaust. Actually, the mufflers on it, I put IMCO mufflers, just to bring out the sound of the car, because it's very subtle. It's a very quiet car, so I wanted to open that up a little bit, get a little more sound out of it. But you can see just the condition of the car. For a 99, being 20 years old, this thing is in pristine condition. And honestly, it's probably the most reliable V8 I've ever owned. The only thing I've done over the years is just routine oil changes. I actually even have the original tires on it that I had from 8 years ago. Probably not the safest thing on the vehicle, but I'm going to be changing those up pretty soon. They're completely bald, so it's time for some new tires. I actually did the front and rear brake pads recently, so that was one thing that I did. But you can see from the outside, this car is just beautifully clean. Actually, what did happen, which was a bummer, you can see here in the wheel well where it's a little bent. What happened is I think a ball bearing or something. I wasn't living here at the time, wasn't driving the car at the time, so it was a ball bearing or something broke, and the wheel actually fell out and screwed up the fender. So I'm going to do that on the other side, on the driver's side. I'm going to be replacing the other ball bearing there. And that's how beautiful she looks from the outside. Let's take a look inside. Getting into the car now. Very fine vinyl. Everything, even the wood grain, is just perfect condition. It's got some stains. I haven't really cleaned it too much. But you can see for a car with 165,000 miles, it's just the seams are coming undone. I could have that sewn back together. But the driver's seat is still in mint condition. Steering wheel is beautiful condition as well. It's got the 3 cluster gauges up here. It's beautiful. In the back, beautiful wood grain again, all around the car, of course. Let's move this out. And you can see the back seats literally look like they haven't even been sat in. Just so pristine, this leather. It's held up so well over the years. And you can see, I love about this is that it's stitched all throughout the car, which gives it some unique styling for a vehicle, especially of this age. Popping in on the passenger side here, in the rear seats. Again, you can see just the condition of the leather and the vinyl here. Leather's just beautiful. Love it. The roof itself, very clean. Sunroof, moonroof, of course. Beautiful stitching again. You got nice compartments back here. And you got beautiful stitching through the leather there. Again, very nice styling cue. Of course, then we got the Lexus badging on the door sills and the back and the front. I think these could use a little polishing. Then you can see also for 99, we got side airbags in the front, both front passenger and driver. And it's also got the lumbar support for the driver and the passenger as well. Obviously you got your controls there, but again, the leather is just in pristine condition. It could use a cleaning, but no biggie. Beautiful styling throughout the car. Of course, front, passenger, and driver airbags as well. Of course, here in the back, a lot of trunk space. Pretty good trunk space. It goes pretty far back there. Plenty of stuff you could put back here. Got plenty of junk in it already. And here's the beautiful 4-liter V8 1UZ-FE variable valve timing with intelligence Toyota engine. This thing is a beauty, and it has been super reliable, and just, I mean, it's such a strong motor. Very quick, 300 horsepower, 310 foot-pounds of torque. It's got quite some pull. Down here you can see down on the skid plate down below, it's got some wetness. It does have a valve cover leak. So the valve cover's leaking. I'll have to replace that gasket sooner or later. The seal on it. And then down there you can see the AC compressor. It's kind of hard for me to get the camera down there. But one of the, it looks like the return line, it looks like, on the AC compressor is leaking a bit, so I can change that out, not too hard. But other than that, this thing has been absolutely reliable, and honestly, we haven't done anything under the hood here other than oil changes, as I mentioned. Just put a battery in last year. I mean, this thing is a beauty and a sleeper. So I'm going to be getting this beauty out on the road, and we'll see how she does. Again, I've got about 165,000 miles on this thing, and really done much of nothing over the years in terms of maintenance on it. It's been such a lovely car. It's been very hard to even consider getting rid of it because it's just been such a good car. The only downside on this thing is the gas mileage, which is no biggie, but still around 21 to 22 miles on average per gallon. So I got the 4 cylinders, I got the V6 and the V8s, so I can switch in between, no biggie. This thing is awesome though. I'm getting it on the road right now, and the nice thing is that with the steering wheel, I have telescoping. I can adjust the steering wheel up and down. Also, I have well, I wouldn't call it paddle shifters, but let me show you here. So you can see on the steering wheel, I have the option to shift this vehicle manually, and I'm in drive right now. I can switch it over to manual, and then that way we can see up there it says manual 5 mode. That way I can see exactly what gear I'm in when I'm shifting the vehicle. And then if I go back to drive here, it automatically takes that away. So I'm just in automatic drive. But you see it's downshift on the front of the steering wheel, and there's actually an upshift just on the back side of the steering wheel on both sides as well. And then I forgot to mention as well, I do have my power mode, which is common in most Lexus vehicles. And then I have heated seats, which was an extra additional option for this vehicle. And then I have my vehicle stability control, which is a traction control option on this vehicle. So I'm gonna keep it in automatic mode. That's the way I usually drive this vehicle. I don't like to use the Tiptronic or the manual shifting mode because it's a little finicky with the transmission. And I noticed that a lot of times there's issues with the transmission will start shifting weird after I've used the manual mode. So I like to keep it in drive, just drive it that way. It's an automatic vehicle anyways. I have stick shift. I'll drive that for that purpose. So I'm driving right now down the road, and the car is running and just smooth as can be. When I'm at a stop at idle, I can barely tell, even with my hand on the steering wheel. Sometimes I'm like, shoot, is the car on? Because it just idles so smooth. I mean, this 4-liter engine is a beauty, and it is a beast when you punch it. So one of the things that I really enjoy about this car is just the overall quality of the build and how well it's lasted over the years. I mean, for a 20-year-old vehicle, I showed you the outside, showed you the inside. I kind of mentioned some of the issues that I've had to do over the years, which is nothing. It's just basic, just common maintenance, which is oil changes. I just did the front and rear brake pads. I'm gonna have to do the tires here soon. still original tires from 8 years ago when I bought the vehicle. And the other thing that wasn't ordinary maintenance would be the ball bearing, but of course at any point with a vehicle of this age and miles, that's bound to happen. So that happened on the passenger side, unfortunately, and kind of messed up the fender, which I can fix no problem. So I'm planning to fix that one on the driver's side of the vehicle so that the wheel doesn't fall out when I'm driving the vehicle. But this car has just been an absolute dream. And as I mentioned earlier, it's just, we can't even decide to get rid of it. We're not going to get rid of it just because it's been such an amazing car. And these cars are actually very hard to come by these days in good condition, with I would say with lower miles in terms like under 200,000 miles. Some are out there, you'll see them for sale once in a while. And most of them have over 200,000 miles. So to find one with under 200,000 miles, you'd be lucky to get one for a couple $1,000. But they're totally worth it, and I would recommend this car to anybody that's looking for a nice car with a lot of power. Actually, when this car debuted in '98, this car, the GS400, ran from '98 to the year 2000. This car was actually said to be the fastest production sedan at the time. That was until the BMW M5 came out and of course took over as the ruling fastest sedan at the time. Driving this thing at 60 miles an hour, I mean, it could put you to sleep. It's so smooth in here. And I really love that about this car. I mean, it's just been a dream owning it, as I said. I really don't know what else to say about this car except for, first off, it looks good and it's very subtle. You wouldn't think that it has as much power as it does. It's said to go from 0 to 60 in about 5.9 seconds. Again, at the time of this era of this vehicle in a '99, it was a very quick car. There's a reason why it was said to be the quickest sedan in production at the time. But it is more than just power. It's reliability. It's Toyota with Lexus badging. And this was before Lexus branched off and is solely Lexus now, no longer Toyota. And it's at an era where the quality of vehicles was extremely high. They had very well made vehicles, not that they don't today, but you had a vehicle with less technology, less electrical issues, something that just would take you wherever you needed to go. And there's a reason why this vehicle has lasted as long as it has and will continue to go for a lot longer. And that shows with this era car and just how well it was built. I really, really enjoy this car. I plan on keeping it for many more years to come and get all the enjoyment of the power and just everything about it. I love it. It's such a good car. It's cheap to maintain, cheap on insurance. Just everything is cheap about this car. And it will do everything you need and put a smile on your face like it does right now. So I love this car. That's how much I really, really love this car, seriously. But let me show you just real quick before I end this video, just a quick 0 to 60 run on this thing. I may not actually get up to 60 miles an hour depending, but let's go for it. Lost traction. So that's gonna be it for this quick review on my Lexus GS400. And make sure that you like this video and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I'm going to be bringing some more content forward for you guys to see and doing some more reviews. Let me know if there's anything specific you want to see in any of my reviews or something that I should change up. I want to make some better videos for you guys to watch. So stay tuned. I'll be bringing some more forward. See you soon.